Hello and welcome to the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, live tonight for the VSPEED Memorial Day 120 from Watkins Glen. Race 2 in round 3 of the playoffs. Drivers going left and right around this beautiful Western New York road course. And looking forward to a very exciting race tonight with these Memorial Day paint schemes and drivers really pushing hard here in practice to get their times down to as quick as they can. And I am joined in the booth here tonight with Zach Halpern. Zach, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Adam. How about you?
I am doing fantastic. Really looking forward to this one. You know, one of my favorite tracks. It's my home track, and I've been around here personally. But you know, what are your thoughts on this place, and what are you expecting from tonight's race?
I personally always have liked Watkins Glen as a road course. I think it's really the only good road course that the Cup cars go to. I think the cars are able to get around there very well, and the braking zones aren't too bad, but there's still one good braking zone, turn one, that can really make or break a day. You see a lot of times in real life drivers overshoot that and they lose some positions over that or wreck someone. So I'm a big fan of this track when it comes to road courses, and I look forward to these races every single year.
Yeah, this is such a fun track to go to, and so much history here as well, with this being the site of the U.S. Grand Prix for a very long time. And the town is just beautiful in the Finger Lakes, and yeah, definitely puts on a great show in real life every time they come here. There's always an exciting finish and exciting moments throughout the race, and I'd expect no less here tonight. And also quite a bit on the line for some of these drivers in the playoffs, as this is the round of 8 and drivers trying to lock their way into that championship round. As they wrap up practice, we'll pull up the points and we can take a look at those. AJ Stravato, with his win 2 weeks ago, locked himself in to the championship finale, so he's got no pressure today. But a couple drivers you know, on the outside looking in that have been pretty quick in practice. Safe Ferris and Chris Simard showing some good speed early on here tonight. And we do have news that Keith Maioto is not going to be in the race tonight, or at least he won't be able to run much of it if he does make it into the session. So that is going to put him very close to the cut line and could open up the door for a couple drivers to maybe steal a victory here tonight.
All those other drivers are thanking goodness that Keith Maioto's missing that race tonight. That actually, AJ and Keith were pretty much locked in going into this race if they both showed up and ran it, and Keith missing it definitely puts him towards the bottom part of the cutoff line. So you're going to give these other drivers a chance and some hope, and I know if I was outside looking in, that would be great news for me.
Yeah, and it's going to put him in a precarious situation headed into the Super Speedway next week. That's going to be very interesting to see how things go there at Talladega, which will determine who makes it into that championship round. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on those guys next week, and definitely a lot here tonight. It's kind of a wild card race as well. But looks like Safe Fair is coming out of turn number 7 and headed towards the start-finish line to begin his first hot lap. And they only get one attempt at a qualifying time tonight, so you can't mess it up. You've got to stay on course, stay off the wall to have a time that counts. Safe was fastest in the practice session. Behind him also Chris Simard, Ryan Gemmel, and a few others. The VSPEED drivers all up there in the top 5, and then AJ Stravato was also quick. So definitely some good speed out of the top drivers coming into tonight's race. And we'll also highlight some of these special Memorial Day paint schemes. You see one here on Robert Gilmore's car. This very reminiscent of some of the old tanks and fighter jets. This kind of army green color with some of the graphics on it. Cool looking race car. Nice tribute there for Robert as he makes his way through the carousel. And also, I believe Cody Adkins running a special scheme as well, similar to an old Dale Jr. scheme. Looks like Chris Simard with his lap time in a 1:13.7, a pretty good lap. See if anybody can top that. Here comes Safe Fares across the line. He'll run a 1:13.55 with Dennis Faircloth to the top of the board in his very patriotic Geico number 80. Seth Hatchell now tops his lap time. So Hatchell, who's top 5 fastest in practice, currently sitting on top here in qualifying. We'll see if AJ Stravato has gotten his lap time in or he's actually out on track. I think just going around for his warm-up. And
one thing I always know about this track is I either want to be starting on the front row or all the way in the back, because that first turn on the starts of this race can be very, very dangerous, and I've seen a lot of drivers get punted, and that's not a good way to start your race and possibly end your day.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be in a scary situation, you know, on lap number 1. It's 40 laps here tonight. You've got to get to that last one to have a shot at winning. As now Ryan Gemmel jumps to the top of the board alongside his teammate Seth Hatchell, and AJ Stravato through turn 7 will begin his flyer lap. We'll see how the driver of the number 48 does here on his lap. Definitely one of the quickest road course drivers in the league.
I know when I was talking to AJ before this race, he was mentioning that everywhere about this track is great except for the S's. So apparently he's not too great in the S's. We'll see how he does through them in this qualifying run as he gets through there pretty good. A little loose off of the exit of the S's, but it's not going to be a bad run going into the bus stop. I know that the S's can be very tricky just because there's such a high speed turning portion of the track, and these cars have so much weight, it kind of just bounces back and forth, and it's really hard to maintain control and not get loose and spin out in that part of the track.
Yeah, the setup in these cars as well tonight. I did a little practice a few days ago with a couple of the drivers and just got a feel for how it felt to go up through there, and it was definitely tricky to you know, put the power down at the right time. The car really wanted to slip out from underneath. As you can see, AJ, a little bit of a slide there through turn 6. Now out of turn number 7, trying to drive it home across the start-finish line. And he will get a lap time in 1:14 flat. I'm not sure if he had any incidents. Doesn't look like it, but only 7th quick. So a bit surprising for the winner of Road America. But we'll see if he can make his way forward throughout the event. And he's getting a little bit more practice in right now as he continues to run on the racetrack. 14 drivers with the lap time in, and they are currently in their drivers meeting. So we will cut to a quick commercial break and be right back with the starting lineup.
Welcome to VSPEED, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing, with specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors.
Shot at it, I think, and right now Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn 1. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
These two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in both 2D and 3D design with 3D printing capabilities. Looking to get into broadcasting yourself? We can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey.
Hey, honey.
It's happening. The baby's coming.
Okay, I'm on the way.
Hey, buddy, you ready for the big game?
You're gonna be there, right, Dad?
Pal, you can count on me. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Hey, honey, Josh's flight landed early. He'll be here about 6:30. Can you make it?
Okay, I'm on my way.
We've got total gridlock out there this afternoon.
The average American spends over 40 hours a year, nearly 2 full days, stuck in traffic on our broken roads and bridges, while our lives move full speed ahead. It doesn't have to be this way.
Where is he?
Husband's on his way.
It's time for Washington to get America moving again by finally funding our country's infrastructure.
Where's Mom?
Tell Washington to fund America's infrastructure, because life won't wait.
All right, and we are back at the racetrack, about to get things going. We're going to run through the starting grid for tonight's race, the VSPEED Memorial Day 120 from Watkins Glen. Let's see where your favorite drivers are starting here tonight. Starting on pole, the VSPEED driver Ryan Gemmel alongside his teammate Seth Hatchell. Both drivers currently inside the top 4 in the standings, and looking for a good run here to cement themselves in those positions headed towards the championship finale. Rolling off from row 2, Dennis Faircloth, who was runner-up at Road America, and Safe Ferris, who's also very strong at these road courses. Chris Samard rolling off from 5th. Eric Hutton starting in the 6th position. AJ Stravato locked in. He is rolling off from 7th. Dallas Sullivan starting in 8th position. Nick Starling going to be starting in that 9th spot. And starting in 10th, Lane Sulfridge.
Starting in 11th, we have the 57 of Alan Dice. 12th will be the 70 of Lyle Sulfridge. Starting in 13th will be the 40 car of Robert Gilmore. And 14th will be the 39 of Timmy Emanuele. 15th will be short Jordan Shepler. 16th, Joey Mines. 17th, Dennis Steele. 18th, Cody Atkins. And rounding off the field in 19th will be the 1 car of Zach Smith.
Yeah, so a little smaller field here tonight, but I think we have a pretty competitive top 5 and top 10. And, I think we're going to see a lot of good racing action, even with just 19 drivers around this place.
Yeah, you look at that top 7, they're all within a second of each other. And although a second can make a big difference on a road course, it's not... Qualifying doesn't necessarily mean anything when it comes to that, because a lot of people slow down when the race actually does start. So I'm going to be looking for this top 7 to be pretty goggled up towards the beginning, and hopefully they get spread out a little bit by the S's, because if you're too wide in the S's, that normally spells trouble.
Yeah, that does not work through there, and you could end up in the Armco barrier on your way up the hill. But yeah, a lot of these drivers pretty good on long runs as well, and good around these road courses. And you don't see in many leagues really super competitive races sometimes at these road courses. You'll see a couple drivers who definitely have it dialed in, and then the rest of the field's just trying to keep up. But I think here tonight we could have a different story. There could very easily be 5 or 10 different drivers that could win this race, and it may come down to saving the tires, might come down to just outright speed. But before we get to the end of the race, before we get to the checkered flag, there is going to be a stage break at lap 12, and the drivers racing to that point will have to figure out what strategy they want to employ to get the best chance at winning tonight. But the field rolling through turn number 7, about to get going for the VSPEED Memorial Day 120. It is Ryan Gemmell, Seth Hatchell, green flag waving. We're underway from Watkins Glen. AJ Stravato already looked like he was going to go 3 wide. We've got cars hard on the brakes there. That's Nick Starling nearly losing it. But side by side for the race lead, Ryan Gemmell now gets the advantage down into turn number 2. Up the hill through the S's. And side by side for second now, Safe Ferris and Seth Hatchell racing it up. It's a shoot down the back straightaway, 170 miles an hour as they dive into the bus stop. And right now it is Ryan Gemmell by a second over Safe Ferris.
Yeah, Ryan Gemmell did get a really good start on that race and got through turn 1 clean, and the rest of the field kind of just got gaggled up a little bit. And as the leader, that's one of the benefits of qualifying on the pole here, is you kind of go when you want and you kind of get that perfect entry into turn 1 as long as you don't overshoot it.
Yeah, definitely good to get away, and having that advantage is super important. It'll be even more important at the stage 2 start, where you'll have control of the restart. On the initial starts of these races, you do have to go on the green flag, and so that's why neither of the top 2 really had a massive advantage going down into 1. But look at this, AJ Stravato on the attack. He's alongside teammate Eric Hutton, and Hutton just going to roll out of the way, and AJ now up to the 4th position, trying to track down the VSPEED drivers, as well as Safe Ferris for Team Red Speed. And AJ definitely showing some good pace getting up through traffic there. So we'll see how he does on the long run.
For these drivers, this first stage only being 12 laps, they know they don't have to worry about saving fuel, and they can kind of push their stuff a little bit harder than usual. So as a driver, AJ has nothing to lose. He can just try and get a win. But as other drivers like Eric, who are still outside looking in, they're going to need to get these stage points before the end of the night, and they need to put themselves in position to finish very well or possibly win to advance to the next round.
Yeah, definitely important to get your footing set here early on. As we saw a couple drivers doing some landscaping through the inner loop, that being Timmy Emanuele and Cody Adkins, both going off-road for a little bit there, but able to continue on. And outside the top 10 right now for both of those drivers. But let's see if there's any battles happening right now. Dennis Faircloth getting passed up by Chris Samard. Chris ran very strong at the Daytona road course earlier this season. I believe a podium finish for him, maybe his only first or second of the season at that point. And Chris looking for a good run again tonight, right now in the 6th position, as he is definitely just driven straight away from Dennis Faircloth, but a bit wide on the exit of the bus stop. That'll reel the 80 back in as they dive through the carousel, downhill, right hand, waiting on the power, and there they go down this short straightaway to turn number 6. Such a fun section of the racetrack. You're going back up through the gears and just trying to get everything you can.
One thing about turn number 6 is you're making so many right-hand turns on this road course. I believe the only left-handers are going to be in the bus stop, one in the S's, and then that turn 6. And turn 6 is honestly the hardest left-hander to make, and I've, as a driver of so many times, have just kind of gotten slowed down a little too badly and kind of spun out the car, or you swing it out wide. You're not used to having the car go to the left as much as the right. I feel like a lot of times these cars are set up better to go to the right instead of to the left. So a lot of times it's a very struggling corner for these drivers.
Yeah, and speaking of spinning it out, Alan Dice spun it out of turn 7 at the end of the last lap. Almost got into the pit road barrels, but was able to stop it in time and had to take it down pit road, and currently back in the 18th position. And good thing about this track being so long and the drivers being so spread out, you're not really in danger of going a lap down unless you have really heavily damaged the car and haven't been rolling for a bit. And we do have a battle starting to emerge for the race lead. Ryan Gemmel up in front of Safe Ferris. Safe was very good at Road America, actually won a stage there and led quite a few laps, but didn't come away with the race win. But he has shown some road course strength over the season, and right now trying to put some pressure on Ryan Gemmel, who's looking for his first victory.
Right now, that top two is about 2 seconds in front of the rest of the field, so it's looking as of right now that as long as they're not burning their stuff up too bad, Safe and Ryan are going to be the class of the field tonight.
Yeah, they are proving to be the fastest of the drivers, although Ryan, not a great lap the last time by, so maybe he is struggling with tire wear. As here comes Safe, just half a car length back through the bus stop, down into the carousel, starting to apply the pressure really heavily now. About halfway through stage number 1, and looking at lap times, actually last time by, fastest car was Eric Hutton. We don't often think of Eric as necessarily the greatest road course racer, but he's definitely good around short tracks, and a lot of the same principles apply to these road courses, especially Watkins Glen. Chris Samard right there as well. Chris, a very solid road course racer and short track racer. This would be one of his closest home tracks as well, being from up there in New Hampshire. So still quite a bit of a drive, but not too far, overall. And I think he said he's been here a few times, so probably enjoys coming back, at least virtually. But he is starting to put some pressure on these two LDR teammates, AJ Stravato and Eric Hutton here 4th and 5th. Samard still in striking distance of those two, and Hatchell maybe starting to close the gap down to the top two as they continue to fight for the race lead. Now Safe Ferris looks to the inside, trying to get the nose in there, but Gemmel able to shut the door and up out of the carousel, able to stretch that lead back out.
Safe is being very patient right now, and that's honestly the right thing that he should be doing. There's no point in possibly wrecking yourself for the driver in front of you to try and get that race lead right now. You save your stuff, keep putting the pressure on the 6 car, and he might make a mistake and let you by easily. So playing it safe, just pressuring the 6 car and hoping for a mistake from him.
And that does work if you can apply that pressure. Those lead drivers, they've got to find the braking zones for themselves, and you can kind of base your braking zones and acceleration points, shift points, all that on the car in front of you if you're running behind. And right now I think Safe making good use of that information, and he is keeping right up with Gemmel, as now they put another 10th on Seth Hatchell, back to 2 seconds, the difference between the 6 and the 8. And AJ Stravato, Eric Hutton, and Chris Samard are starting to close in on Seth Hatchell. They were all 4/10 quicker than Hatchell. So maybe Seth's struggling a little bit here at the midpoint of stage 1.
And one thing I actually just noticed, not only are we missing Keith tonight, we are also missing another playoff driver, Nick Gardner, who is way behind the cutoff line right now, so his only chance is going to be if he wins at Talladega.
Yeah, and he was already in a bit of a hole coming into tonight's race if he had started, and he did win at Talladega earlier this season, so maybe banking on another victory there to get into the championship round. But that's definitely putting all the chips on the table. You never really know what can happen at Talladega. We take a look here at Dennis Faircloth, who is back a few positions. The 7th, he started in 3rd after running so well at Road America, and pretty solid race at the Daytona Road Course. Not quite as quick here tonight, but still not too far back. He's all by himself, 2.5 seconds behind Chris Samard and 4 seconds ahead of Dallas Sullivan. Just kind of biding his time back here. Taking a look for other battles. Lane Sulfridge not too far behind Cody Adkins. That's the battle for the 10th position. And Cody has gained a few. He started in 18th actually and up to 10th. So moving forward and looking like he could earn a stage point or two when we get to lap number 12.
As we see the 48 and the 77 as well starting to close in on that A car, I would not be surprised if they both end up passing him by the end of the stage. The A car is looking like he's struggling a lot right now.
And they're approaching a lap car. That's Robert Gilmore that the leaders just made it past. And AJ looked like he was going to make the move, but couldn't get the power down out of turn 1. Now he might start to feel the pressure from Eric Hutton. Up through the S as they go, slipping and sliding, getting through the gears. And look at this, a line of 4 race cars from 3rd to 6th. That is pretty cool to see. You don't really, like I said, sometimes in these league races, you don't know what you're going to get on these road courses, but this is looking very competitive, at least here in the top 5, as now AJ Stravato working to the inside.
Chris Simard also to the inside as they make a little contact through the carousel, and Chris Simard's going to lose that position. He almost got on Eric Hutton.
Yeah, that was very close. He tried to take advantage of Eric slipping up the racetrack and getting behind the 8 of Hatchell, and yeah, Seth definitely struggling here a few laps in. But still able to hang on to the 4th position, and every point is going to matter for Seth, who comes in with a reasonable margin to the cut line, but needs a few more points probably to feel content headed into Talladega. But right now, hanging on to this 4th spot as they continue to do battle back here. And Safe Ferris has lost a little ground to Ryan Gemmel, but still within a half second or so as they make their way up the hill, down the chute towards the bus stop. And there's more lap traffic up ahead, so that could become a factor in the next couple laps.
I know at most ovals, it's kind of a little bit easier to race as a lapped car. You don't really want to get in the way in a road course. It's much narrower than an oval. You don't have as much room. It's not as easy to get around, and you really do need as much of the track as possible here at these road courses compared to the ovals. So you'll see a lot of times these drivers kind of just let the cars by, and especially this early on, they might just be trying to finish the race and not really much to lose for them.
Yeah, we saw that with Robert Gilmore. He pretty much just pulled off to the side, and now Safe Ferris maybe looking to attack down into turn 1, backs out of it, and he'll stay in line with the 6, but really good run through the center of turn 1, and the gap now just 1 car length after running about 6/10 quicker than Gemmel. Safe Ferris maybe finding some speed here late in this run.
I'm going to be looking for him to set up something here, not this lap, but possibly next lap. It all depends on how this bus stop goes for him. I know the 6 has been getting a much better run off in the bus stop recently, as you see Safe kind of back it off a little early there, possibly trying to get a good run in as he does get to the bumper, and will have possibly a good run coming into the carousel as he does slightly get into the inside as they make a little bit of contact, but not quite there yet.
Yeah, that was very close. That could have very easily sent the 6 of Ryan Gemmel around, but Safe backs out of it, and you see those 2 lap cars up in front of him. That actually is Joey Mines and Dennis Steele, who are in danger of going a lap down with only 1 more to go in the stage. Now Safe Fair is looking to the inside through turn 7. Gemmel going to go a bit wide on entry. There's contact. Gemmel goes around up by the outside wall, trying to get back up to speed. Eric Hutton just narrowly avoids him. This will push Gemmel back to 6th position, and Safe Fair is going to take over the lead on the final lap of the stage. And I bet Ryan
is probably going to be seeing some very not happy words between those 2 teammates right now.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were communicating before, but I'm sure they're communicating now. Not what you want to see if you're Ryan Gemmel. You saw that stage win in your sights, and now you're back to 6th and just trying to hang on to this one with those cooked tires. He'll just have to manage his emotions and get through here cleanly. As there's a car off into the wall. That's Dennis Steele hard into the barrier out of the bus stop as the leaders make their way past. What happened there? He just lost it in front of AJ Stravato. And man, that was a hard hit. But either way, safe fares through turn number 6. And another car off track. That is Joey Mines in the USA number 20. He goes through the sand trap. And now safe fares down the front straight. He's going to win stage number 1 under interesting circumstances. But AJ Stravato second, Seth Hatchell third, Eric Hutton fourth, Samard fifth, Ryan Gemmel hangs on to 6th. And Dennis Faircloth 7th, right there behind him. Dallas Sullivan across the line in 8th. Nick Starling 9th. And just now coming out of turn 7, Cody Adkins headed towards the line. So a lot of drama there late in that stage. It seemed so calm. And then all of a sudden it changed.
And when you're that close and stage points really do matter, especially for both of those drivers, and especially even more so for Safe. He really wants that stage win, but I guess he felt like he could get away with it because it's a teammate that he kind of like. It looked kind of like a racing deal, but Safe did get in there a little hard and kind of just came up into him. So there definitely will be some favors paid back later on in the season, possibly now or next race.
Yeah, and you don't want to make enemies if you don't win tonight. You know that next week, being Talladega, you're going to need as much help as you can get. And Safe being Team Red Speed, kind of a satellite team of Team V Speed, he's going to be working with those guys. So we'll see if they kind of make amends before the night is over or how everything goes. But this promoted AJ Stravato up to 2nd. And that 48 car on the hunt again, maybe for another race win.
Definitely a good run for him so far. Just been patient, getting by people when he needs to, and avoiding that one wreck that we saw up front. But for AJ, I know a lot of times drivers who win in the last round sometimes don't end up winning the last race. And you want to, yes, have momentum going into that championship round, but sometimes getting hot at the wrong time is also bad. You see drivers in real life, they get hot certain points of the year and then cool off very quickly, and you don't want that to happen. You want to be too hot right now in the round of 8 when you still have one more round to go, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'd say that AJ's probably been the top driver all season long. I don't think he's really ever cooled off. I think the longest he's gone without a race win is about 3 or 4 races, and even still in those races he's finishing in the top 3. And right now, trying to back up the race win from 2 weeks ago. Currently the win leader, he's got 7 on the season, and riding in that 2nd position is the field working down through the carousel. They'll make their pit stop, and then we'll see how it goes in stage 2. We're not sure if they'll be able to make it the entire distance, but either way, it's going to be interesting if there's any strategy calls.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the fuel run's going to be here. They're going to have probably, 25-ish laps? 25? Yeah, about 25.
Yeah, I'd say probably 24, 25. It depends on how many caution laps they run after the pit cycle is complete.
Pit should be open this time around.
Yeah, I think it should be, as they do look like they're coming in. Safe Fares will lead them onto pit lane, and pit stops are a little bit different at this place. They're actually reversed from traditional pit stop layout. So crews have to work backwards. Drivers have to think backwards as they do make their way down the pit lane. Stravato off to the side a little bit early, I think. I know there's some new pit road rules in play as Ryan Gemmel pulls into his pit box at the end of pit lane. We'll see who wins the battle off. All right, and service completed on Safe Fares. And it looks like Seth Hatchell might get 2nd. It's very close.
I think, no, Seth did beat Eric out. It looks like Eric might have had him at the line, but AJ with a pretty slow stop there. He's losing. He must have had something go wrong on pit road. I think he lost about 5 spots.
Yeah, it's showing 0.3 seconds for his pit time, but his pit lane time was about 2.5 seconds slower than the guys in front of him. So definitely an issue. Maybe had trouble getting into the box just right. And
I
another
think
driver...
I did just hear him say on the mic he had trouble seeing his pit stall because of drivers driving down the right side of pit road. The right side of pit road, yeah, instead of the left side. So
Yeah.
that possibly could have been something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird though, because he was the only car I saw on the right side of the pit lane. So maybe that's why he peaked out a little early. But another driver with an issue on pit lane, that was Ryan Gemmell getting some, I think, damage repaired. He had a 19-second pit stop, so that lost him a couple of positions. Still in 8th spot, and he's got good speed, but has to be patient in stage 2 to make his way back up there. Let's pull up Safe Fares and call up the stage 1 winner. Safe Fares, Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Adam.
Well, Safe, you've got the race lead. You've led a few laps. You won the stage. A little bit interesting, contact there between you and Ryan to kind of wrap things up. But you two were clearly the class of the field in terms of lap times. How's the car feeling, and how are you feeling about stage 2?
Well, I'm glad that we got the stage win. However, it's not the way that I wanted it to happen. I feel really bad for what happened to Ryan and me getting into him. At one point, I saw his nose is actually inside my car, so the car just warped into one another. Nevertheless, I feel terrible for what happened to him and what I did there. We do have a little bit of damage, so it'd be interesting to see how the car is going to handle now for the final stage. Other than that, we have a solid car here, and we're hoping that we get a good result so that we can have a chance on making it to the final.
Yeah, you were definitely quick at Road America. You won a stage there and then ultimately finished on the podium in that race. Is there something about these road courses that, fits your skill set or something that you found that helps you get around these places?
I'm just comfortable with the road courses in general. However, braking points is my biggest struggle, especially when I wheel hop and ruin the tires. So that's going to be the biggest concern for myself, is reserving tires, especially right now we have a longer stage. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not sure how the fuel runs are going to be like, but I don't know. We'll just have to be consistent, and hopefully we can get a good finish, if not first.
Yes, sir, and you're definitely showing some good strength here tonight. You're riding in first. We'll see if you can finish it out in first, and good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thanks, Adam, and hope everyone is enjoying this race.
Thank you. That has been Safe Fares, the race leader, winner of stage 1, under interesting circumstances, but obviously apologetic right there, and knows that he made the contact, and they're continuing onwards. But yeah, we'll see how things go in stage 2. Like you said, gonna have to save the tires a little bit.
As much as it hurts to obviously wreck another teammate to get the lead, it's the second to last round. You got to do what you can to get these points, especially when you're below that cut line. So I don't blame him, even if he didn't do it intentionally, getting that lead right there.
Yeah, I think just pushing a little hard into that corner, but now he's got the race lead, and he's got control. Green flag in the air, back underway for the VSPEED 120. Down in the corner number 1, and Fair is leading the way. Here comes Eric Hutton, who had a good pit cycle. He's going to try to work to the inside of Seth Hatchell, who struggled at the end of stage 1. But they go side by side through the S's, and Seth looks like he might give that position up. And he will. And Seth a little bit squirrely there at the top section. And here comes Chris Samard, and we've got contact. That was AJ Stravato. Dennis Faircloth at the top of the hill. Ryan Gemmell peaking low, but not going to make it happen. Oh, and Hatchell off track. He's off in through the grass. Gets back on course, but that's going to cost him a lot of spots. Mistakes on lap number 1 of stage 2.
That's one thing I always tell myself when I come to road courses. I kind of give myself a limit. I want no more than like a 3x today. I can't go off track more than 3 times, because if you can really limit your mistakes, you'll manage to get a decent finish at a lot of these road courses. A lot of times it's a battle of attrition, and mistakes like that, you see he went from 3rd all the way down to what now, 8th, so, or 7th. So that's not stuff you want to be doing. You lose time very quickly and it's hard to make it up.
Yeah, definitely costing himself about 3.5 seconds, because he was in, well, actually he was in 3rd, so probably about 2.5 seconds, but still 2.5 seconds, hard to gain back at these road courses. As now he's got Ryan Gemmel closing in from behind as well. And Ryan still trying to recover from the incident in stage 1. He's up 1 spot so far from the previous lap, but was very close to that close call between Dennis Faircloth and AJ Stravato. That was nearly disastrous on the backstretch.
And AJ Stravato's got a bumper full of the 37 of Chris Simard right now. AJ's been struggling through that S's, as he mentioned earlier, and kind of struggling through the bus stop as well, going into the carousel, as the 37 is staying pretty close to him. So I'm going to be looking for the 37 to try and set up a pass in the carousel this next lap.
Yeah, Chris was keeping up with both Stravato and Hutton on the last run. Those 3 were pretty much nose to tail the whole time, and I think very close in terms of speed. And I'm a bit surprised. Eric Hutton up to 2nd and not really too far off the pace of the race leader. Both of them pretty quick compared to the rest of the field. Hutton was a 10th slower than safe, but he ran his fastest lap last time, so there's something there. He's finding a rhythm and finding that pace that he maybe was lacking a bit earlier.
AJ could also possibly saving a little bit of fuel here towards the beginning of this run, so he can push a little bit harder into the later part of this run. So, because he has been kind of, you look at AJ and he has a 3-second gap between him and the leader, and then you look at the rest of the field and they're all pretty close together. So AJ could possibly holding up this field trying to save his stuff.
Yeah, last time by about a second slower than safe Ferris, but could be saving fuel, could be saving tires. Maybe a combination of those things, and I think they do often work hand in hand. If you're backing off early and rolling through these corners, not using as much brake, you can keep the tires a bit cooler. You don't use as much gas. There's a lot of benefits to trying to be as smooth as possible, and right now, lap time suffering a tiny bit, but that time by just a couple tenths slower than the leader. But he's finding a nice consistent rhythm maybe, and we'll see if he starts tracking them down. But so far the top 2 well out in front, as Safe Ferris at the top of the hill working down the back straightaway. Halfway through this race, and he is looking like he has a great shot at winning his first race of the season. Trying to find other battles. Ryan Gemmel closing in on Seth Hatchell for 6th spot. And not too far in front of them is Dennis Faircloth and Chris Simard, and even AJ Stravato. They're really not too far out in front. But Ryan pushing pretty hard right now, and a little bit quicker than the 2 cars in front of him, but he's going to have to pick it up even more than that if he wants to have a shot at winning.
Also a pretty close battle going on for 9th and 10th place. Nick Starling in that beautiful patriotic paint scheme. Just the American flag, that doesn't get much more patriotic than that.
Yeah, I think very reminiscent of the old 36 car that ran a scheme like this after, I believe it was after 9/11. Very simple, straight and to the point. And Nick doing a very solid job in the top 10. We did see Alan Dice go around through the carousel, and he has heavy damage on that camo machine. Although it just kind of looks like the camo is very effective on the front bumper right now. Maybe that's what's going on.
Possibly. I know one thing is it's very easy to compound mistakes here. You kind of let things get into your head, and once you make one mistake, a lot of times it's very easy to just keep making the same mistakes, and you get frustrated with yourself and you keep blaming, oh, my tires are hot now, my tires are hot. And you just keep making mistakes and making mistakes. And for people like Alan and Joey and other drivers tonight, it's been the same, that kind of same mental state. You got to try and get out of that and hopefully wrap it up and keep pushing forward.
Yeah, and Alan still driving. He's 15th. Not necessarily the night that he wanted. I know he was. He loves his paint scheme, and he was a bit sad that it would be run at a place like Watkins Glen, but he's gotten some airtime, so I think the job has been accomplished. But yeah, definitely mistakes kind of get in your head. It's hard to focus when you've made so many of them. I did see a car go a bit wide through turn number 1. That might have been Dallas Sullivan or Nick Starling, one of those two, as yeah, Dallas has lost some time to the drivers behind him, and there could be a battle emerging for the 8th position as Nick and Cody Adkins not far behind.
AJ pulling a little bit closer, only 2.5 seconds behind the leader now. Safe probably is taking it a little bit easy, knowing he's about 0.8 in front of Eric Hutton and then 2.5 seconds in front of AJ. So maybe AJ feels like he saved enough those first couple laps, and maybe you don't have to save that much. I feel like you don't really have to save too much, just a little bit. So we'll be seeing towards the latter half of this run whether or not AJ saved enough at the beginning.
Yeah, and he's got kind of a nice comfortable space back to Chris Simard, so he may not be feeling pressured to really defend, and he can really drive the line that he wants with Chris being nearly a second behind him. And then the cars behind Chris also about a second or 0.8 separating each of them. And then Ryan Gemmel, who had closed up on his teammate, has since kind of faded a little bit. He's now about 1.3 behind Seth Hatchell.
Yeah, he's struggling pretty badly right now. I saw him lock up the tires in turn 1 just now, and part of that's got to be, I do see a little bit of left front damage, that it's a little crinkled in on there, so that's getting in your head a little bit and possibly affecting your driving. And then still just probably a little upset about what happened earlier on in the race, and I don't blame him, but he's got to wrap it up and focus on gaining some spots and hopefully getting a better finish than where he is right now, because he still is only 17 points above the cut line, and if Safe wins tonight, he'll be below that cut line.
Yeah, Safe being on the outside looking in, and right now in the best position to advance. If things stay as they are, he would advance, but still a long ways to go. And Eric Hutton, he's not fading. He's staying right that same distance, about 1 second behind. And I'm sure Safe can feel that presence there. And he probably sees AJ Stravato also starting to close in a little bit. Stravato about a 1/4 second faster last lap than the top two. And Chris Simard actually fastest on the racetrack. He was in the 113s still, and everybody else down in the 114s. Stravato was second quickest, but still 0.2 slower than Chris.
Chris has looked very, very good out there tonight, and if he can somehow set himself up to be close to that lead at the end of the race, I wouldn't be surprised if he can pull out a win tonight. He's looked very good, and he looked very good at the end of that run too, of stage 1. So if he can somehow get up towards that race leader, he might have a shot at this win.
Yeah, very smooth as we kind of rode on board with him for a moment. You can see AJ really wheeling that car out of the corners, probably burning his tires up a little bit. That was an issue he had at Daytona, where he was actually in the race lead pretty late in the going, and seems like he just could not hold on to the tires. We saw that from him in the VRL road course races as well. Seems like he's very quick for the first handful of laps, and starts to fade as right now he is losing a little bit of time to the top two, but still not too far behind, and he probably is feeling the pressure from Chris.
Yeah, Chris closing in on him. He's not too close to where he'll bump you, but he's close enough to where you can see him in your rearview mirror, and you kind of start to mirror drive, and you definitely don't want to do that at a road course. That will really mess you up. You miss your braking zone by 5 feet, and you overshoot your corner, and that you can kiss your position goodbye. As simple as that. Also, I noticed that Eric is slowing down a little bit too, as he's now 1.2 seconds behind the leader.
It looks like he picked up a little bit down the back straightaway there, but actually AJ did as well. Maybe safe with a little bit of an issue, or maybe he's running a little bit less throttle down these straights to save some fuel. You see him breaking the draft, or trying to break a draft back to Eric Hutton. Still comfortable lead, 1 second, but even one mistake, like you said, that gap will disappear. Taking a look
and
farther
it's
back.
way too early right now to be counting down the laps. You still got a while to go. You got about 14 laps to go there, so can't count your eggs yet and put them in a basket. You gotta wait until the end for that.
Yep, and we don't even know if they'll make a pit stop or not, so I'm
hoping they do.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do as well. That would be a big contributing factor to how this race plays out. A bit unknown right now. Keeps things interesting. As looking back a little bit farther, Jordan Shepler starting to get closer and closer to Lyle Sulfridge. That'll be for 13th position. And these guys, even this deep in the field, still fighting it out for spots, and that's the joy of road courses. You've always got somebody who's very close in skill level or speed, and you can always have a good battle with them. As Shepler looks to the inside, but not going to make an attempt just yet, and he'll actually lose a lot of time through the bus stop and maybe reset. Nick Starling still within a few car lengths of Dallas Sullivan, but he got really loose up out of turn 7, and that might allow Cody Adkins to take a shot during this next lap. He's right there, a car length behind the 99. Things getting interesting. Oh, Nick really loose again. He's going to give the spot up right there in turn 1. That's the kind of mistake that we're talking about. Those little mistakes compound so fast.
Yeah, just such a small mistake. He definitely wouldn't have gotten past anytime soon if he was able to run clean laps. And right there, one little hiccup and just getting a little too loose off of the corner, getting back on the gas a little too hard, and car wiggles out from you and you lose the spot so quickly. So he's going to be looking to hopefully get that back, but kind of got to let the tires cool off a little bit after that slip up.
Yeah, he's still pressuring Cody Adkins, actually, now that it seems he's recovered. I think all of these 3 cars just very close in speed, and those little mistakes are the difference between gaining and losing spots, and we've seen them all kind of slipping and sliding, so anybody could grab a spot at any time, really. But they're all kind of, I think same skill level, same speed tonight. And like I said, you've always got somebody to battle with. And yeah, another case of Nick getting a bit sideways right there. He'll lose some distance. But a driver who's continuously gaining, that is Chris Simard. He was 4/10 quicker than, well, 3/10 quicker than AJ Stravato, 4/10 quicker than Eric Hutton, and another 3/10 faster than Safe Ferris. So Chris Simard's still the fastest car on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, I really, really like Chris Simard, how he's driving this course right now. He knows that he's 3 seconds behind the leader roughly, and he's just got to make up this time as much as he can without possibly pressuring AJ too much to slow himself down too. Sometimes staying behind someone is the right call to make and not passing, because passing will slow you down on a road course. You won't be able to get in through the turns as well and apex the corner properly. So Chris kind of just taking it easy, making up time slowly, and kind of pushing AJ to push maybe a little harder than he wants to, but not passing him quite yet.
Yeah, and probably working this draft as well. Let's see what the times are at the line. 3/10 quicker than the leader, and everybody in the top 5 other than Dennis Fairclough faster than Safe Ferris. Hutton was a 1/10.5 faster, so that lead did shrink. It's now down to 8.5 tenths, and actually a little bit more through the S's. Seems Eric is getting through there really well. Safe maybe struggling on that portion of the course.
Yeah, Safe did mention during the stage interview that he's worried about the long run. He's not quite sure how good he's going to be on the long run. So, and he was also concerned about that left front damage. You can see it's a little crinkled in, kind of exactly the same as what the 6 of Ryan Gemmel had as well. So, not quite sure how much that's hurting him, or if it's just old tires and he pushed a little too hard towards the beginning. But we'll find out if he can hold on to this lead as the race continues.
Yeah, and the damage might even just be psychological impact, not really, you know, actual speed of the race car. It could just be where you get down into the corners. You kind of reference that left front fender for some of these turns. And if you're struggling getting into a left-hand corner, that could be a contributor. But yeah, Eric Hutton, that time by another 3.5 tenths, chopped off the race lead. He is now within about 4 or 5 car lengths. And I think Safe starting to feel the tires and feel the pressure with 10 laps to go next time. Gonna try and hang on to this race wins. Eric Hutton, a race winner a few weeks back at Martinsville. That infamous race, your debut race. But, you know, very different type of track here tonight, and definitely performing above my expectations for him. But
he's doing a great job.
Yeah, Watkins Glen is, I think, a little bit more forgiving as a road course too, because the long straights, there's just less corners than some place like Sonoma, and there's a little bit more banking in some of these corners. So if you're just used to wheeling the race car, it's a bit easier to do that around here than Sonoma, which has a lot of off camber and elevation change. It's not great for these stock cars.
And I actually rode on board with the 44 of Safe for that last lap, and I was kind of just listening to what he was doing, trying to hear what possibly is going on, and he was sliding the tires a lot through the S's and was struggling getting back on the gas off of the turns, and Eric was a little bit better on getting off of the gas off of the turns. So drive off is a very big thing at road courses, especially with these long straightaways, as you mentioned, and Eric's continuing to close in on the leader.
Yeah, the top 4 all tightening up, separated by less than 2.7 seconds. As Chris Simard, he's faded from the back of the 48 just a bit. Maybe saving his stuff a little bit. I heard him shift early through the S's, so maybe also searching for some stability in that 37 car. I think all of these guys starting to feel the heat in those tires, and they have really pulled out a gap over Seth Hatchell. Ooh, big slide by Ryan Gemmel, that time out of the carousel. That was a scary moment there as he's trying to pick the pace back up again.
Eric just had a little bit of moment as well. He laid down some rubber there in turn 7, kind of got loose going into the corner and lost a little bit of time there.
And Jordan Scheffler just came on the pit lane, pulling into his pit box, and maybe he was getting close to being lapped and decided to get some fresh tires on it and get out of the way of those race leaders, which is a nice, respectful move, but will cost him a lap. And no lucky dogs at this point unless we get a massive caution that blocks the track, which I don't expect with how these cars are spaced out.
Yeah, it would definitely take something big for that to happen. Eric's been struggling this last lap. He's been getting very loose as AJ is now to his bumper. He's lost a lot of time this last lap. I've noticed he just keeps wiggling off of turns and was sliding through the S's, so possibly just slid the tires off of that turn 7 and that kind of heated them up, and now he's struggling to get them cool again and losing time.
And Chris Simard has really closed up on AJ Servato. He's now just 2.2 seconds behind Safe Fares. Again, finding a bit of pace. I think he's stepped back for a few laps, and now he's got the charge back on and trying to get to that 3rd spot. And Chris really needs every point he can get. If he doesn't win, he's going to have to finish, you know, the best that he possibly can. He's on the outside looking in as well.
Yeah, and he's in a much worse spot than Safe is if Safe ends up not winning this race, because Safe is only, actually they're about the same as I say that. They're only 20 and 21 points back, so a good finish will definitely help them here tonight, as people like Keith are not here tonight, but you definitely want to win. You don't want to have to go into Talladega knowing you have to finish top 10 or top whatever to advance. It's too unpredictable at Talladega, and you can kind of control your fate a little bit more here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, big wiggle for Chris Simard at the top of the hill. I think he saw a mistake by AJ Servato, and AJ going off the track a little bit out of the bus stop. But Chris a little too far back to capitalize. Chris got really loose, and AJ really sideways there. Man, these guys are struggling. It's been about 18 laps on this stint So it's not surprising that they're starting to really feel these tires wear out. Safe Fair is somehow still hanging on to a second gap over Eric Hutton after losing a bit of that. I think he's just found a consistent pace and doing a great job right now.
Yeah, I definitely feel Chris has saved his tires the best out of any of the drivers, other than possibly the leader in the top 4. So it's tough to pass at Watkins Glen, especially on older tires, and I'm just waiting to see if they pit or not. That's really going to be the determining factor on if anyone other than Safe wins this race, unless if Safe does end up making a mistake.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good lead now, almost 1.5 seconds over Eric Hutton. And I wonder if Eric may be saving fuel or maybe just compounding mistakes. Small mistakes. There's one right there, actually, out of the bus stop through the dirt. But he actually gained a little time through there, so I don't know. Maybe that's an advantage.
Newfound strategy for Watkins Glen. Go through the dirt. I'm looking at the track temp. We've actually gone down about 4 degrees since the start of the race, so definitely drivers are happy about that, as you will have a little bit more control of the car with the lower track temp.
Yeah, and the pace about 2 seconds slower than the fast times in this race. So the tires are a factor, but the cooler track temps will help a bit, but it looks like the clouds just moved away and it's sunshine down here in turn 1. This battle for third heating up. Chris Simard right at the back bumper of AJ Stravato, headed into the S's. He's going to look down low. AJ shuts the door on him. Chris actually up on the curb as he is trying to find a way around the struggling 48. Can't quite do it through the S's. That's such a tough place to complete a pass. It's almost impossible, actually, unless the driver makes a mistake. So he'll reset and refocus for a couple more corners.
And there's obviously the competitive nature when it comes to racing. You never want to give up a spot, but when you have someone like Chris right on your bumper who's fighting as hard as you can to get into the next round of the playoffs, drivers remember things like you letting them by, and possibly letting Chris by here could benefit AJ in the future, as he might be more willing to get out of his way in the championship war if Chris doesn't make it. I know I try to be friendly with the drivers out there if it benefits me at least, so AJ possibly could just let him by if he ends up getting to his back bumper enough and getting to the inside of him.
Yeah, and he made a little mistake there through turn 6 and 7, actually caught the grass, and that lost him quite a bit of time. And Eric Hutton has picked up the pace once again. He's now down to right around 1 second as they work past the 70 machine of Lyle Sulfridge, who's slow in the S's. This is going to be a bad spot for Eric to catch him. Ooh, and that may have cost him a few tenths. Actually, yeah, it looks like 4 tenths already lost for Eric Hutton, even 6 tenths now as they head towards the bus stop. I see smoke up in front as well. Don't know who
Jordan
that is.
Shepler, I believe.
Yeah, Jordan
yeah,
Shepler.
Jordan Shepler.
Happened to Jordan. Looks like he just lost it under braking. Yeah, wheel hopped it into, oh, and hard into the wall, actually. But he was off track and out of the way, luckily for the race leaders. But Safe with a comfortable lead with 5 to go, coming to 4 to go. He is still about 1.6 seconds ahead, and no indications of any of these drivers coming down pit lane.
Kind of unfortunate that there's not going to be a green flag pit stop. That's normally a pretty good way to shake things up and force drivers to do one more thing to get a win, but I know Safe is going to be very happy if he doesn't end up having to pit here. But there's still a couple laps. They might be very close, but I would imagine if they had to pit, they would have already done so. So I do not see any green flag pit stops occurring this race.
Yeah, there's no opportunity to pit under a yellow because there won't be any yellows. At least at this point, everybody is too spread out. We do have a battle here. Nick Starling going around in turn 1. Just as I'm talking about, no real yellows, but he was battling with Cody Adkins and Dallas Sullivan. And also Alan Dice with another issue right in front of the race leaders. Down into the carousel, he's getting back on track. And right in front of Seth Hatchell, but Seth able to navigate past that. Couple issues late in the going for some of these guys deep in the field. Luckily hasn't affected the leaders very much. But
that was about as close as it got him tonight. He was parked sideways right into that entrance of the carousel. That's not a good place to be.
yeah, that's very dangerous and very hard to see if you're a driver coming up on it. Safe. Fair is 4, now 3 to go. Has a little smoke there in front of him. And another lap car out front. That's Timmy Emanuele on the tail end of the lead lap, running in 12th position. And much slower up through the S's. Could hold Safe up just a little bit, but I think Timmy's going to pull out of the way in that Ferrari-themed Chevy Camaro. And this is actually going to affect Eric Hutton worse than it affected Safe. As Eric off track right there, trying to find a way around. And those could be costly moments for Eric Hutton. We've seen it a couple times where the lap car has just been slightly in the wrong place for him. And he was starting to close in on Safe that lap. He was up a few tenths. And back down to right where he was, around 1.3, 1.4 in that range.
Yeah, he was looking good that lap. He was getting through the S's very clean. He got through turn 1 very clean as well. And Safe, I think, is obviously just trying to mind the gap between him and the rest of the field, as he knows a second lead, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, they're not going to really be able to catch up to him with 2 laps to go now. So
yeah, that time by Eric 6 tenths fast, or 5 tenths faster than Safe. So he does have to be careful.
The hearts are pounding on these drivers right now, especially with drivers like Safe and Eric, who are looking to get into these the last round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and Safe looking for, I think, his first career victory in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series. I'm not sure about Season 1, which was not broadcast, but he didn't win last year. It was so close a few times, had the speed pretty much week in and week out, just could not find victory lane. And it's kind of been the same case this year. Quite a few stage wins. I think he's actually at 6 stage wins, but no race wins. And this would be huge for him, locking him into that championship finale. And he's only got 1 more corner this lap, and then 1 more lap after that, headed towards the start-finish line. White flag being shown. Safe Fair is out in front by just over 9/10 of a second to Eric Hutton. And Hutton going to push as hard as he possibly can to get to the back bumper and make Safe miss his line or miss his braking points. But that time, Eric a bit wide through turn 1. That might be enough of a mistake for Safe to run away with this.
Yeah, this bus stop is kind of Eric's last chance to make up enough ground to possibly get to the bumper, in my opinion. So if Safe doesn't make a mistake, though, I don't think Eric's going to have any shot at him.
Into the right, left, left, right. Chicane down into the carousel. Safe gave up some time, that's for sure. Eric did close up, but it's not going to be enough. I don't think. Still 2 more corners to go down this short straightaway. The battle for third is pretty tight, though. Chris Samard right there on the back bumper of AJ Stravato. We'll see if he's able to make any kind of an attempt to pass here in the last 2 corners, but Safe Fair is through turn 6. Now headed towards turn number 7. Safe Fair is his first career win in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, going to come at Watkins Glen. Safe Fair locks himself into the championship finale and winning the VSPEED Memorial Day 120. What a drive by the 44.
Yeah, great race. He managed his tires very well after being afraid of the long run. And while Eric was closing in, I think it was just Safe taking it easy and knowing if he doesn't make a mistake, Eric isn't really going to be able to get to him. And looking at possibly what the point standings could be after that race, Keith is going to have a little bit of trouble going into Talladega, as the 5th and 6th place drivers both finished 1st and 2nd. So it's going to be very interesting Talladega race, that's for sure.
Yeah, Safe getting the maximum points there. He'll be locked in regardless, so basically just completely count him out of the equation. It's going to be between about 4 or 5 more drivers to settle those last couple spots. And definitely going to be intense at Talladega next week. We're going to go to commercial break, and we'll be right back with the post-race interviews.
Hey, honey.
It's happening. The baby's coming.
Okay, I'm on the way.
Hey, buddy. You ready for the big game?
You're gonna be there, right, Dad?
Pal, you can count on me. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Hey, honey, Josh's flight landed early. He'll be about 6:30. Can you make it?
Okay. I'm on my way.
We've got total gridlock out there this afternoon.
The average American spends over 40 hours a year, nearly 2 full days, stuck in traffic on our broken roads and bridges, while our lives move full speed ahead. It doesn't have to be this way.
Where is he?
Husband's on his way.
It's time for Washington to get America moving again by finally funding our country's infrastructure.
Where's Mom?
Tell Washington to fund America's infrastructure, because life won't wait.
We've been waiting for this moment. Generations of innovation all coming together in one place. A pedigree of more than 70 years of NASCAR Cup Series history, from the past to the present, from Petty to Earnhardt to Elliott. Today, there's no more waiting. The future of NASCAR is now. Drive the next-gen cars today on iRacing and step into the next generation of racing.
All right, and we are back at the racetrack now, about to pull up the race winner. Safe Ferris. Safe, Adam in the VSPEED booth, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Adam.
Well, Safe, you finally did it. You got the monkey off your back, and what a time to do it, to take your first victory here at Watkins Glen. You lock yourself into the championship finale. How does it feel to win here tonight?
Honestly, it's a bittersweet moment. I'm just reviewing right now the contact on lap 11, or was it lap 12? I'm not sure, between me and Ryan. And it doesn't look good at all. The way that I took that corner just shot me into his side, and I'm surprised how it just shot him up the track and spun him like that. And I don't know if there was also a little bit of an iRacing glitch that didn't help the matter, and I just ruined his race. So I'm happy that we actually got the win. As you said, monkey off the shoulder, and we made it now to the final four. However, I owe my teammate Ron Gemmel a big one, and hopefully I'm going to be able to help him out next week in Talladega.
Yeah, that's a place that you need as much help as you can get. Is it how relieving is it to have a win tonight to kind of take the pressure off you going into a race like that next week?
Honestly, the last 10 laps of this race, my body was just shaking, my heart is racing. I'm trying my best to keep pace and keep Eric Hutton right behind us. With the damage that I have, it was slowing our car a little bit on the straights, especially on the bus stop in the back straights. So um, I'm just glad that now that pressure is off and we can go into Talladega with more of strategic thinking rather than a pressure on us. And yeah, again, I hope I'll be able to help my teammates over there, especially Ryan Gemmell.
Yeah, Ryan has been so close to wins this season, and we know he's good at those super speedways. So we'll see if you do get the opportunity to work with him. Should be a fun one. You'll have a few teammates you're going to have to potentially help out to make it into that final four. But you're locked in. You go to Talladega where you can do that. But you get your first win. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yep, first and foremost to my VSPEED teammates. They made this a possibility for me to race with them. Definitely under your leadership, Adam. So thank you. I appreciate that, you guys, for having me on board. And finally, the 44 was able to deliver a win. Not in the way that we wanted, but it's a win in the winning column. I want to thank as well all the guys in Below the Double Yellow. VSPEED as well for sponsoring today's race, and all the sponsors that came on board and made this season and this series a possibility. So thank you to everyone, and of course the fans who've been watching us since the start of the season and from previous seasons as well. Thank you as always for joining and showing up to support your favorite drivers, and also to my own fans. Thank you, guys. And I hope we are delivering good races for you to watch and get you excited and all rallied up for your favorite driver too.
Yeah, definitely was a fun one here tonight, and you definitely had the car to beat. You lead 30 laps on your way to this win here tonight. So go celebrate, and we will catch you next week at Talladega.
That was great. And I believe Zach was on board with you today.
Yep, Zach's been here. He's doing a great
right here,
job.
buddy.
Hey, Zach, thanks for coming on board and covering as well alongside Adam. We appreciate you being here too, man.
Thanks, Safe. Great win tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You guys have a nice evening.
Thanks, Safe. All right, race winner Safe Ferris, his first career win in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, and couldn't have come at a more convenient time. He locks himself into the championship finale. We're going to go to second place finisher now, Eric Hutton. And Zach, I believe you're with him.
Hey, Eric, buddy. This is Zach up in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy with me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, great race tonight. You obviously didn't get the win, so a little disappointing there. And you were closing in on Safe there towards the end. But a second place finish is not going to be bad. And with Keith Maioto missing this race, it definitely puts you in much better position to make it into the next round. How you feeling after tonight's race?
Yeah, I just wish it would have been one spot more. I was pretty confident going in to a degree, but saw everybody I'm racing up there pretty fast as well. And after the stage, had a really good restart there with Safe, and thought I was gonna catch him, and we held pace. It's just yeah, I don't know. I'd be slow a lap, and he'd be fast lap. We was kind of trading times off, it seemed like, and got up to about 6/10 of them, and then I made a mistake in the last corner, lost about half a second, and after that, he either slowed down or made mistakes, and then I just got killed by lap cars there at the end and ruined a chance. But second place is the other best option, I guess.
We were mentioning during the broadcast that you had a lot of bad luck with those lap cars tonight. It seemed like Safe was getting around them a lot easier than you were, and you're just catching them at really bad times tonight. And that definitely did play a part in not being able to get back to the bumper of Safe. How frustrating is that as a driver to know that possibly the race win was taken away from you due to lap cars?
Yeah, I mean, it's just what could have been. I don't know if I would have 100% got to his bumper or not, but catching a lap car in the middle of the S's, and then another one a lap later at the bus stop. Just those two literal worst spots to catch a lap car on the track. It's frustrating, and then to still hold the same amount of time at the end on them, it's just I think I could have got to this bumper, but I don't know. So it's definitely frustrating though.
Understandably so as well. And next week, it's the big one, Talladega, where we're going to be looking for you to hopefully finish well and hopefully advance to the next round. Do you have any strategy going into that last race of the round of 8?
Yeah, strategy was to win a race before that, but now I just gotta trust the teammates. I got good teammates to help me out there for that race, and just stay out of trouble, and hope you choose the right strategy, because it's not one that'll work 100% of the time.
Well, hopefully you can end up missing the big one next week at Talladega and get a solid finish, and hopefully even a win to advance you into the next round. Is there anyone you possibly want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, just shout out to my teammates, everybody there, and shout out to you guys for the broadcast and everybody that sponsors this league and everybody in the league, and big shout out to those 2 lap cars. Just really made the night a whole lot better.
Well, Eric, great race tonight. 2nd place finish, not too bad. You're going to be very close to that cut line going into the last race of the round 8. We look forward to seeing you next week, and have a great night.
Appreciate it. See you.
All right, that was Eric Hutton. Definitely an impressive performance, but obviously a bit disappointed by the way things shook out. But he'll have another opportunity next week, like you said. And we're pulling up AJ Stravato, and Zach, I believe you're with him.
Hey AJ, buddy, this is Zach up in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy with me?
Yeah, brother, I got you.
Hey, all you had to do was kind of just enjoy yourself tonight, and you managed to finish 3rd even so. And I don't really think you were pressuring yourself to do well. And so great finish and keeping up momentum from the whole season. How you feeling after tonight?
I mean, I wouldn't say I was trying to ride around, man. I was definitely trying to win, for sure. Definitely having safe win doesn't help my buddy Eric getting in the playoffs, but yeah, it was a fun race for sure. Had it streaming on my end for a couple buddies, but yeah, that safe was quick. There's just no other way around it. There was a couple times where I don't know why we were doing 1 lap qualifying. That kind of messed me up. I got a really, I guess, poor starting position in terms of track position, and then after that it was just playing the catch-up game. We got to 2nd, and I guess iRacing, when you stop on the pit sign right on it, it says too far forward, so I lost all the time I gained and had to pretty much make it all back. And once you're in dirty air and kind of pushing your tires a little bit, there's only so much you can do. And once me and Eric started gaining on safe, I would either make a mistake or we would just run into, no offense, some really stupid lap cars at probably the worst possible places, the worst possible time. So that was really frustrating. I think there was an incident with like 5 to go where it was in the S's, and it just killed me and Eric's momentum at that point. Safe had it in the bag, so happy for Safe that he won. I know we've had some run-ins in the past, but he's a good guy. Good to see him win. Be interested to race him in the Final 4, and yeah, just a long race, I'd say.
Yeah, those lap cars were definitely something tonight. We talked to Eric about them, and he definitely, you could hear it in a voice. He was very frustrated tonight, and obviously you would be frustrated too, but at least, it doesn't affect you advancing to the next round, and it definitely affected Eric tonight, as it really didn't help him at all getting to the back bumper of Safe. I know you're definitely a great pusher at Talladega. I know we've done it before at Talladega. Are you going to be trying to push Eric to the win next week, or are you going to be looking to win yourself?
Hell yeah, brother. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to next week. My job's going to be helping Eric for the entire race, man. That's pretty much going to be the game plan. If he doesn't win, then I'll take it as an L for myself too. I'm going to be racing as selflessly as I can next week to help him out, because I know he has a chance and talent to win a championship. It'd be fun to race against him and a teammate, kind of like I did with Jeremiah Josiah last year. So help him out, and we'll go from there.
Well, very, very cool, AJ. I know a lot of drivers kind of don't want their teammates necessarily in the last round, because it kind of means that they can't help you in the last round, and it's every man for themselves. So very admirable of you. But other than that, great race tonight, man. You want to give a shout out to anyone?
Just all the league admins, American Trucking Association, Adam and you for doing a hell of a job in the booth. Always nice to talk to you guys. And just all the league admins. This is a lot of fun every week to race. Definitely was a little bit rusty today, but I had a lot of fun shaking that off. And hopefully we can carry some momentum into Talladega, get my buddy in, and hopefully win a championship. That's the goal.
Well, AJ, we look forward to seeing you next week at Talladega and in a couple weeks for the championship race at Phoenix.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to talking to you then, man. Have a good one.
You too, AJ.
All right, third place finisher AJ Stravato started 7th. Great race from him as well, and you heard it there. Just gonna help the teammates next week, and I think that's the goal also for Safe. He's got an opportunity to help quite a few of his teammates to potentially make it in those last 2 spots in the championship round. But those were your top 3 finishers. We'll run through the full results right now. Here were your favorite drivers ended up in tonight's race. No cautions. They were turned off here tonight unless there was a real big accident, and we only had the stage break caution, so no naturally occurring cautions, I should say. And only 1 lead change. That was between Ryan Gemmel and Safe Ferris. And Safe came away with the race win. Eric Hutton finishing in 2nd after a great performance. AJ Stravato in 3rd. Chris Samard, a very impressive 4th. Seth Hatchell finishes in 5th. Dennis Faircloth finishes 6th. Ryan Gemmel in 7th after starting on the pole. Cody Adkins winds up in 8th, up from 18th, so biggest mover of the race. Nick Starling finishes right where he started in 9th, and Dallas Sullivan finishing in the 10th spot.
And finishing in 11th is Lane Sulfridge, and then in 12th will be Timmy Emanuele. 13th, Alan Dice. 14th, Lyle Sulfridge. 15th will be Jordan Shepler. 16th, Dennis Steele. 17th, Joey Mines. 18th, Robert Gilmore. And in 19th will be Zach Smith.
Yeah, so smaller field here tonight, but not small excitement. We definitely had our moments of drama and side-by-side racing action, and such a fun track to go to, and opportunities for calamity and chaos at any point, and we saw some great performances from some of the top drivers in the league. Any closing thoughts before we head on out for the night?
Just a great race, and all the drivers did a great job. Obviously, there was a little bit of trouble from those lap cars, so I'm sure there's going to be some phone calls on Monday, especially with some of these drivers. They're going to be kind of trying to get under their skin and saying, like, hey, man, like, you kind of not doing me any favors here. Like, kind of help me out a little bit. But other than that, great race. I love it when the Cup cars come here. It's my favorite road course, as mentioned earlier, and I really look forward to next week at Talladega, as a lot of these drivers are probably going to be pretty aggressive getting that win.
Yeah, definitely going to be an exciting one, and we have a couple super speedways on the docket for next week here on VSPEED. We'll be back next Wednesday with the Virtual Racing League. You'll be a part of that one, Zach, at iRacing Super Speedway, and right back here with the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series on Thursday at Talladega Super Speedway. So 2 super speedway races back to back, and surely going to be some crazy moments in those races. But want to thank everybody for joining us and watching tonight. If you want to learn more about what we offer with VSPEED, check us out at vspeedsim.com to see all of our different offerings and capabilities. You can also check us out at all these different social media links on the screen to stay up to date with what we're doing throughout the week. And great race at Watkins Glen here tonight. Looking forward to next week at Talladega, and we will catch you all then.